Welcome, everybody. It's great to have you all here today at our wonderful webinar between Event Temple and MeetingPackage. I'm just going to start off with a little bit of housekeeping. So today we're going to be discussing a great new integration and partnership between Event Temple and MeetingPackage. In today's webinar, we're going to start with a brief overview of ourselves, our company, an overview of the integration, then a live demo to show you exactly how it works. We're going to let you see it live, see it in action. From there, we're going to be opening up that presentation to any questions to make sure you all get to know what you're looking at and answer anything that you may be curious about. So with that being said, I am Trevor McLean. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Manager here with Event Temple, and I'm so happy to have with us here the CEO and founder of MeetingPackage, Jonas Ahola. And yeah, so with Event Temple, who are we? We're a sales and catering software for hotels and venues. And Jonas, would you be able to introduce yourself?
Sure do. And thanks, Trevor, for the introduction, and pleasure to meet you all. Jonas from Finland calling, exactly to be precise, from Helsinki at the moment. And MeetingPackage has been established since 2016, or we launched in 2016 September. Some of you might know us from past being more a kind of a traditional marketplace until the point that we a little bit shifted towards actually solving the problem that hoteliers and venues are having in regards to sales automation, and especially talking about digitalization and online booking in that respect. And that's great that we're on this call today with Event Temple, one of the most advanced sales and caterings at the moment, and allowing kind of best of both breeds from the digital side of things, from a customer user journey perspective, but also from the operational side of a hotel. And those are the things that we're going to be capturing today. And perhaps, Trevor, I'm not sure if you have anything else to add, but maybe we get started.
Yeah, let's jump in. Let's learn some more.
Beautiful. Firstly, I just want to give a little bit of a background for everyone to understand the use cases that we are covering in this presentation today, and what the both softwares eventually will allow you to how you can actually sell to the broader customer base. So first of all, we're talking about offline transactions, so emails, calls, phones, walk-ins. Those optimally will be then handled in the Event Temple environment, as most probably there's already Event Temple customers in this call that you handle already day-to-day basis, but also then prospective customers for Event Temple. Trevor will of course show how Event Temple works in the backend also. Then talking about online and web, so the digital transactions. And that's from MeetingPackage to Event Temple integration, meaning that the customer lands to your hotel website and wants to make an instant booking or even an RFP. Or a customer lands to a third-party website and wants to make an instant booking or an RFP. Those are the use cases that we will cover today. About MeetingPackage as a product suite, just again, a quick snapshot for everyone, is that we have three products. The VSM, what we call the Venue Sales Management, that's the one that integrates now in this case to Event Temple and enhances some of the data to make it more friendly for the customer to transact, even though all the operational areas are stored in Event Temple. Then we have the booking engine that can be implemented on your own website, whether it's a single property or a multi-property perspective. And then we have the channel manager that allows you to control your forward distribution. So ultimately now you have your back office in Event Temple, and all of your sales channels, digital sales channels, can be managed through MeetingPackage. Direct, indirect, online, offline, the two solutions technically cover the whole landscape. And now I'll let you, Trevor, give a little bit of a snapshot on Event Temple.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like to keep ours a little bit simple here at Event Temple. Really, as Jonas mentioned, we're a sales and catering solution. So our goals in sales and catering, we've noticed that in the space that really what the product needs to be is it needs to be based around four really, really basic concepts. At the end of the day, a sales and catering solution needs to be really easy to use, needs to be integratable with best-in-class solutions. Like today, for example, we want to be connecting with great products to make sales easier. We need to be scalable to your property's needs. So that means a small product for a small property, a big product for a big one, right? We all don't need a very complex solution to sell some meeting space and to sell group rooms. And also our final pillar that's extremely important here at Event Temple is just to be customer focused. So we don't want to build things because we think it's neat. We want to be making sure we're solving hoteliers' problems and really making sure that we are focused on delivering a world-class experience for hoteliers every day. And that's the basics here at Event Hub, and we're definitely going to dive into sort of the how it works a bit more for those who aren't familiar, and make sure we're covering that too. Oh, Jonas, I think we have you on mute there.
I love digitalization. This is the most used thing during COVID. You're always on mute.
Absolutely.
However, thanks, Trevor, for that. And as mentioned, we will get to see it in real action soon. So we don't really want to show only demo slides. So we actually go to the live products and demonstrate to you guys on how it actually works. This is just a helicopter view. Again, there might be people here looking after distribution or direct sales, e-commerce, marketing. So there's different angles on which kind of lands to your own table. If we look at the violet line or purple line here, that's the offline way. So it goes to the hotel staff. Again, depends, of course, if you're central sales or then it's an independent hotel. That would go then to your Event Temple system and generate that quotation and offer from there. We can, however, utilize also MeetingPackage e-proposal, but ultimately that's not either needed. It's just a functionality that exists there. You can, of course, manage it 100% in Event Temple for the offline sales. Then if we look at the blue line, the lead goes to online to your own brand.com solution and goes to the booking engine that is on your own website. That information actually, the availability, pricing, content, etc., is automatically fetched from Event Temple. So the customer actually sees real-time availability, pricing, content, and can make definite bookings or inquiry bookings based on the business rules that you define in MeetingPackage. And that flows automatically towards Event Temple. So the operational salespeople, operational team members can actually operate in the sales and catering, while the sales and distribution and marketing team more operates in the MeetingPackage landscape. And finally, if we look at the orange line, that's then the kind of third-party distribution sites that we integrate with, such as Cvent, where you can then, through our channel manager, control your distribution strategy while still be connected to Event Temple and display that information already in the third-party source. And of course, Trevor will most probably cover more of this, but then Event Temple also integrates to the other hotel systems that are running behind the scenes.
Absolutely. We've got your PMS and everything all connected in one place.
Yeah, I didn't want to throw all the lines here because, as we all know, in hotels, there's a lot of softwares to be used, but this is kind of the main bread and butter when you were talking about meetings and events and group business. Then how to sell. I mentioned just a moment ago about business rules. I just want to clarify, you as a hotel, you don't need to sell all of your rooms automatically instantly, even though we do the connection with Event Temple. You can still control which rooms do you sell instantly online, which come on a request basis, what we call the booking request, or which come as an inquiry. One thing that I want to highlight is that the conversion is a big difference, whether it's an instant booking or an inquiry. And with instant bookings, we're seeing above 90% confirmation conversion rate. So ultimately, you should actually re-engineer the wheel and talk about less than 10% cancellation rate, which is quite normal in, let's say, the normal e-commerce world or bedroom bookings. We're not talking about hit rates, we're talking about cancellation rates. But in meetings and events, it's always been about, I get X amount of leads, how many can I convert? So ultimately, the more we go digital, we can also talk about more, how much are we losing from already accepted business?
Well, I think then the question, the Jonas, the question really is why now? Why build this integration? I'm sure people ask, they're curious. And in your world, like what makes this now the time? Why makes it better?
I think number one thing that we see everywhere at the moment around the world is that there's less staff available. which ultimately impacts the fact that if you're getting bookings for 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, small meeting rooms, let's say 1,000 USDs or 100 euros or 900 euros, does it really make sense for your sales staff to invest even 30 minutes or 1 hour of time to close that deal? Do you
No.
actually have the margins there? So that's not number one thing. And the worst thing at the moment in the industry is that there is not staff available. So you're actually not able to even answer to the RFPs, which is a bad customer experience from the customer who left an RFP. And eventually, you never know if that client would actually have that 200-person event for 3 days, but they get a bad experience for that 10-person boardroom meeting, and they will never come back. So that's like one of the reasons that you really need to automate to drive digitalization and automation to your business. Then the other element is that customers are expecting faster responses. What we see from data is that if you don't confirm a booking in less than 4 hours, 50% of the transactions are actually confirmed somewhere else.
Wow.
So 50% of your bookings are confirmed somewhere else if your lead time to answer is less than 4 hours or more than 4 hours.
That's pretty big conversion difference.
That is, and well, you just think about your daily life outside of business. Like if you want to book something, are you actually eager to wait for a response, or do you want it right away on the table? Get on with it and jump to the next task.
Absolutely. I can think of a recent event where that same thing happened. I had a preferred spot, couldn't get a hold of them, and then ended up booking somewhere else because we could do it right away.
The next point is actually, I want, Trevor, maybe you can emphasize on that because, of course, digitalization of meetings and events is completely a new breed, but there's been already sales and catering systems and venue management systems in the past. However, I think what you're referring here in general is that there's a more modern way, an easy way. We know that, let's say, legacy systems can be a little bit harder to use to some extent. So maybe you can emphasize on the current ways of
Yeah.
working being a little bit slow and hard.
Well, I think, yeah, you've got it perfect, right? Which is usually if it's complicated, the challenge you have then is speed, which does hurt. And that's speed to onboard, that's speed to reply, that's speed to doing your job, right? So if it takes you a long time to get an offer out, get a contract out, manage an event, that just means that you have less time in your day for the things that matter, which is really at the end of the day, most salespeople do not get into sales to work in computer systems. Most people get into sales and working in events because they like working with people. So a big goal for us at Event Temple is to really simplify the work so you don't need to spend a ton of time doing it so that you can focus on what matters, which is working with your guests, giving them great experiences and making people super happy with their time spent with your property.
Indeed, indeed. And I think that's kind of what we see from a lot of customers is that people are more and more in hotels actually caring about how easy it is to use, how easy it is to implement, and not just to easy to use, but how quickly can I implement it to a new property? And I think that's a good value point for Event Temple on that side.
Absolutely.
One of the other elements that I want to raise, and this is something that we've faced technically during the last 3-4 years always, is that hotels don't tend to have the data existing. Like if I would ask your hotel today, what is your end-to-end conversion from sessions until the event date in regards to business? I haven't still until today gotten a real answer. So if there's anyone in the chat, raise your hand if you know exactly how many sessions go into confirmed business for meetings and events in your digital channels. And the point is that once you start now connecting and going digital, you can actually start to measure your marketing spend and return on advertising spend, meaning tracking from sessions until event date and beyond. And that's a valuable metric to understand to your marketing department as well as the sales department. And finally, be faster than your competitor. This is not something that every system today out there provides. So if you can implement this now, you're easier and faster to get those recurring customers because eventually the system's proving to provide you recurring customer bases. So again, if you look at your geographical area or city and you don't see other hotels there selling online their meetings and events and groups, why not take that initiative now and be the first one, get those early adopter customers and make them recurring.
Makes sense, right? You want to get that data, you want to get those people in because that's how you can work some good resale, right?
100%, 100%. I think now, Trevor, we go to the more interesting part and go away from the slides. And we don't want to sell something that is futuristic. We want to sell something and show you guys something that is existing today. And that's
Absolutely.
where I'm so excited about, because everything just works and it's visible there. So let's get on to it. Are you guys ready?
Top in.
All righty. Hey, before I show you the demo of our event temple test hotel, I just want to show you guys a few examples of booking engines that we've implemented, so you get a little bit of an idea that it's actually branded completely to the brand or individual hotel property, completely based on your brand guidelines. So here, for example, you can see the Scandic solution, their search page. All of this can be provided within the same digital booking experience. And this could eventually be your property or your hotel with just different look and feel, different logos, etc. Or if we go to Strawberry, for example, same thing, different colors, schemes, user experience a little bit different. So there's different elements. You don't need to be one-to-one to your competitor, but we encourage to use the same seamless booking journey because we know the conversion works. So again, from a session to lead should be above 10%. So if you do and go back to your marketing team today, if you have 1,000 sessions on your meetings and events pages, but less than 10% conversion, you need to do something. That's just the calculations behind it. All right. Then, are you guys ready to see that I make an event temple booking and Trevor takes on and shows how it lands in event temple? Let's get started.
The moment of truth.
Let's take October 24th. 9 o'clock till 5 p.m., 10 people. So as you can see, it automatically brings the rooms that are available immediately with the book CTA button. You also have send request, which would eventually go into inquiry to event temple. And by the way, we have videos for both cases, so you can look at those after the call we have today. I'm going to be presenting now the instant booking version, just to save a little bit time in going backwards and forwards. All right. A few other elements, you can also book for a group if you just want accommodation, and you can also put discount corporate codes, negotiated rates, because there are rules in our integration that if you have a pricing in MeetingPackage, we override the price from event temple. If you don't have a price in MeetingPackage, we fetch the price from event temple. Simple. All right. Now let's take patio. So let's go to patio room rental. And since I'm already logged in, it brings my customer details already. Let's add lunch from MP. We can select the lunch time. By the way, you can also lock the service times for this test property. We haven't locked it, so you can actually book even lunch for 6 a.m., which shouldn't be common or ideal. But in this case, let's book lunch for 11:30 for 10 people. And I choose the seating order, let's say theater layout, and test booking webinar. When I make the transaction, I can read your cancellation policy and terms of use that you have put for your hotel or venue. And once I click on book, it automatically goes to event temple. And since this one is now a definite booking, it goes into definite status in event temple. So I'll make a book now. And Trevor, are you ready to show event temple?
Let's get there. Let's share. Let's transfer it. So we're going live and we're going to go over here. We're going to go to event temple. And what we can do is we can just come right on in here. And we've got a nice brand new live booking in my system. So what we can see here, Jonas's request has come through. We have his events. We have his lunch. We have his rental here on the patio. We have all of our timing set up. And if we dig into this booking a little bit more, we can see that we have his menu items here. So we can see that we've got his lunch, we've got the room rental fee. If we were collecting payments, which I don't think Jonas wanted to really pay too much today, so we didn't collect some payments, but we can see right in here where we can collect our payments as well too. So everything's just going through, and really at this stage of it, we are ready to make a live event. We can print out our BEO, we can move forward, we can really we have everything here. We have Jonas in here for any future time that we want to do business with him. So we can forever retarget, work with him, ask him how it went, grow that business, right? We start with one event, but we can always grow it into future and more, right? And that's the joy of sales, is that we grow our customer base, we deliver great experiences, and we get repeat business. Now, what I'm going to take us into as well, too, is let's say there's an inquiry, it's not online. It's customers that you're trying to grow, you're trying to develop yourself as a salesperson or as an events person. And how are you using a tool like Event Temple to do it? So with Event Temple, what we are built in is a very simplified concept of contacts, accounts, and bookings, right? So you have your contacts and your accounts, the businesses and people that you work with every day, that you're communicating with, that you're trying to grow business with, and you're able to then create bookings and your sales process here in Event Temple. So with Event Temple, you're able to see your lead to committed process, and I'm sure we have some Event Temple users here today, so I won't dive in and repeat what you're doing all day, but really what we're focused on is the simple things to make it better. So communicating easier by offering emails, tasks, communications. We're able to then create offers and contracts. And I'm just going to take us over to Paul here. And so when we then also connect into further systems, we can connect into your PMS, and we're offering group sales that are blocked out of inventory. So when we're talking about further integration, we're connecting that group right into PMS. We're then blocking the inventory, connecting that inventory. We can then sell all our menu items past as well too. And we can also send packages very, very quickly, templated options. So you can build very complex events in a couple clicks of a button. Again, our goal here, don't want you sitting in here all day. We want you working and selling and working with people. So we're trying to really simplify that. We can then have your banquet event orders. They're printing out. They can be nice big events, and they're showing things in a matter of minutes. If you needed to edit anything, you can edit in document. You're not having to go back to 4 other pages and print it out and redo it. You can come right in here. This was Jonas's event. Let's say we talked to them. They said they loved the event, but they wanted to add some more items, right? Isn't that a perfect world? If only everybody said that all the time. Hey, I want to spend more money at your property. But they can do that here in this example, and we can add our appetizers and put it through right here, right? And then bang, we now have that coming through right here in the event. At this time period, we have more things coming through, and we're growing this business. And then really the key here, right? Let's say Paul came in and he came in through MeetingPackage. How do we continue to grow that? So we have Paul right here now as a contact for life. We can see his lifetime value. We can grow for future bookings. We can do that with MeetingPackage. So you're connecting in and you're constantly selling more events. You can clone events to make it very easy. You can track your communication with your contact, every back and forth that you have as you speak, that can be logged in here, and you can do your tasks and activities to grow and maintain business. So I'm just going to end that here of what Event Temple is doing, and we'll pass it back over to Jonas to get back into some other points that we have.
Or maybe, Trevor, if you can add just that dinner to that booking, so I'll actually show. So meanwhile, if you add the dinner event Temple, I'll open it up here also. If you find the booking that I just made.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to that, and we can go back into that, right? And you're mentioning, yeah, adding a dinner or adding items,
Yes.
right? We can do that right in here. So let's say, yeah, that scenario that we had, someone wants to add some more items onto it. I'm not going to add a dinner. I'm going to add a breakfast, but what we'll do here is we can even add and create that event. So let's say we're adding, Jonas, I'll do a breakfast today because that's the items that I have in this space. So we want to do that here, and it's in the patio as well. Maybe we expect 10 people. I can go in and I can add that breakfast. And we'll save that right here for you. And we've got that right there. And then I'll pass it back to you because I know where you're going with this one.
Beautiful. Let me just. There we go. Share screen, desktop 2. Beautiful. Can you see the screen now?
We can see it.
Beautiful. So this is what we call in meeting package and order management. Again, this is now branded for this your logo here property. Hopefully you guys have actually a proper logo and a brand instead of my test property. But this is what we call an customer-facing order management. So what was just recently done by Trevor in Event Temple actually feeds still back towards the customer-facing quotation and the customer-facing order management. So it's a completely typical use case that the customer could call hotel, in this case Trevor, and say, hey, by the way, I want to have breakfast or lunch, in this case breakfast. And the sales operations or the operational person in the hotel just needs to update Event Temple, doesn't need to send any more emails or quotations because it automatically sends the customer a notification that, hey, your existing booking has changed and these are the items that have been added. You can also communicate it within the meeting package order management towards the customer, or the customer can communicate towards the hotel. You have the client info, etc. And I believe you might have added the continental breakfast. Apparently the category is attached in our system. However, this continental breakfast, as you can see, comes automatically from Event Temple. And that same logic applies whatever you add. We fetch it in real time from Event Temple for all the modifications that you have. Before I go to the slides, 2 things I want to just highlight quickly is with this integration, not only your brand.com, but you will also get access to the distribution channels like CWT, C-Event, as mentioned, and other ones that we have integrated to depending a little bit on your geographical location, if it's a local marketplace or a TMC or an online travel agency even. You can easily manage your distribution by just clicking the channels that you want, and you can increase the rate. If, let's say, you need to pay a commission and you want to get the same net revenue from that channel, you just add the pricing percentage on top of your base price, and that way you get the same net revenue that you would get from your own website. And finally, once all of this is done, you can see the real-time statistics. Again, from a digital landscape where, of course, Trevor and the guys have then the dashboard for more the operational and the CRM functions. This is now to talk about more e-commerce optimization and how much is the operational efficiency as well as the digital landscape. All right, after this, we're actually going towards questions, and I hope that there's a lot of questions for us since it's a new integration, Trevor. So I think hopefully we have answers for everything, but I also love the fact that when we don't have an answer, we can actually work with the team to get the answer quickly.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, if anyone is looking to move forward, I would recommend you reach out to your preferred customer success team member or myself, and we will be sure to make sure that we're covering any questions. We can connect you with Jonas as well too, and really just make sure that we're letting you answer any of those questions that you may have live as well too. Sometimes, we cover some of the ones today, but maybe there's ones that you were thinking of that come up later. We're happy to answer any as we continue along. But as you can see here, Jonas, how would they, if we have some Event Temple users here today, what's the best process for connecting here? Or I guess
I think from your perspective, of course, that if you are already an Event Temple customer, then reach out to your customer success manager. Same applies to Meeting Package. If you're running on Meeting Package today and are looking to change your sales and catering, or would like to kind of understand more from Event Temple, we would be happy to kind of guide you towards the right contact person then within Event Temple regarding also knowledge about the Meeting Package integration. And I think one thing that we want to highlight is that there might be a bunch of you in this call who are actually not a customer of either of us today. And hopefully we see you as a customer, at least for one of us, and hopefully for both of us. But we're happy to host a joint webinar or joint call to kind of go through with your team to understand like the operational and the digital experience all in one go, because we understand that it's not an easy one to digest in one call. So it might be easier to kind of ping all the representatives from us, Event Temple, and your operational people as well as the sales and marketing department to the same call. Do you want to, Trevor, highlight the last bullet, or do you want to take the honors?
Yeah, of course. There's no cost for integration. That's probably one of the first questions that come up. Okay, what are you charging me for on this one? The integration itself, there is no additional cost associated outside of the cost of core platforms.
All
If
right.
I could give Event Temple away for free, I would, but unfortunately that one's not possible.
We need to eat also, Trevor, at
Absolutely.
some point.
So Jonas, we have a bunch of questions here, and I'm gonna start here. We have a lot of them here in the chat. But I've been logging them down, and I definitely want to make sure that we have some of these. So the first question comes from Chantel, and it was, how does it manage leads when you have tentative bookings in place? Does the software consider it unavailable? And I think we can answer maybe from one and both perspectives. I'll maybe launch by starting with, if you're working in Event Temple in a day-to-day, how does that work? So with Event Temple, if you are marking something as tentative, based on the rule sets that you set within your system, typically that would mark a space as blocked and held. And as a result, it would make it unavailable because you are now officially saying, hey, we're thinking it's very likely that someone is coming into this space. That being said, you can set rule sets to allow for multiple, but I would open that up to Jonas as well too when it comes to the integration. I'm assuming that in this case, it's blocked.
Yeah,
right?
so we are reading from whatever the rule is in the sales and catering. So if it's taking the space as allocated or non-allocated is kind of the ruling out of that. And of course, we do have a backup for that also. So let's say in a situation that some systems are down or connectivity is not in place, we also hold the availability and store it from a availability level in our system. So ultimately, we can still operate for a certain period of time until we get a connection back again. So there's no risk of double bookings even during a downtime, let's say. And hopefully, of course, we're digital companies, we don't have downtime, but we always want to have those kind of backups that if things happen, we can accommodate that and that you won't have a booking that comes double times.
Absolutely. Double bookings are the bane. We can't have that. So we're always working to make sure we're removing that challenge. We do not want that one.
I think, Trevor, to be honest, understanding a lot from the market and the kind of sales challenges that people are facing, I think number one problem is to actually fill the rooms with an efficient way of doing it. And double bookings might actually be even the least problem in that regards, because ultimately that's...
I got another question. This one's definitely an Event Temple one from Anita, which is, which PMS integrations do you work with? So currently we are live with 3. We are live with Cloudbeds, with Muse, and with Stay in Touch PMS. That being said, we have some wonderful new releases coming out very, very soon. I recommend you subscribe to our page, you follow. We're going to have some fantastic new releases coming out in the next few weeks that are going to be really exciting. And then next we have a question from Moise, which is, how do you keep a track of instant bookings? Will there be a pop-up? Also, we normally add tasks manually. How does this work? Do you still need to do this? So this seems like an Event Temple question. So the answer to that is, these are tracking, they actually flow directly into your pipeline. They get created into your booking system. So they actually pop right in there. You're going to see that card. When you are a user, you will get told you have a new booking in Event Temple. So you are getting notified immediately when these are being created. You're going to see that they're coming from MeetingPackage, and you're going to see those details. Now, if you did want to add workflows to that and tasks, you absolutely can. They would be done manually. They wouldn't be done automatically, especially because in here, we would want to make sure that you're covering this based on the rule sets that you would want to in this.
Yeah, I could add to that, Trevor, also kind of from tracking instant bookings. That's specifically also like what Trevor said is 100% true. But if you think about one layer beforehand, like again, what I've been talking a lot about in the industry is like e-commerce optimization, digital experience. we can track then the whole end-to-end, meaning that how many came inquiry, how many was made as a booking request and instant booking, and kind of when the business rules are generated correctly, the end game that you should achieve is 60 to 70% conversion out of any lead that you receive on a digital channel.
Right on. Hey, actually from our same person from Moise here, the question then was, what are the costs of using Meeting Package, Jonas? They're already using Event Temple today.
Beautiful. And we're an easy company in that regards. The official pricing, of course, if you're independent property, if you're a chain property, we need to look at it a little bit case by case. But giving you a benchmark figure, it's actually online. If you go to meetingpackage.com and then there's pricing on the top, you can see, and depending on if you're a small property or a larger property, the pricing varies between, do you only want the meeting package software with Event Temple plus Channel Manager, or do you also want the booking engine? So there's two costs associated there, and it's easier for you to then just click on the number of hotels, either small or large, and you will see the price there.
Fantastic. And then we have our last one here from Oscar. He first off says, thank you for an excellent webinar. It's very interesting, especially for those of us who are relatively new to Event Temple, and who knows, maybe even Meeting Package. I see many new possibilities. However, I have a question regarding a discount code I noticed when booking a conference through Scandic. Is it possible to create unique codes for specific companies and set restrictions?
I think this is primarily a question towards the booking engine side. So
Seems that way.
you can you can create unique codes which are associated to certain companies. However, there's certain elements to this. So first of all, if you're a corporate code and it's associated to company and it's associated to the domain, then there needs to be, the customer needs to be logged in that it becomes applicable. Then you have corporate codes which don't need verification of domain. It's just a unique code, which could technically be even a seasonable code. Let's say September 50% off. You can generate those codes as much as you want, as well as the fact that you can associate it to an account, which then ultimately needs to be logged in to be able to get that access. Hopefully that answers. And then there's another industry that allows them to book events with us on Mondays and Fridays with 50% discount.
Yes.
At the moment, our discounted codes or corporate codes are for week. There's not a weekday dependency. However, there's a way around for this also, in a sense that you don't have a price for the weekend, which ultimately means that the discount price also is only applicable for the priced events. So ultimately, there's a way around to this possibility. We do have it in our roadmap, but at the moment, not possible to change corporate codes based on weekdays yet.
And I have one last one here for us, and it looks like we're coming right on time, so it's perfect question. But this question is really, how fast can this integration be set up? And Jonas, maybe I'll start with you, and then I can answer with Event Temple side as well too, what our onboarding times typically look like.
Yeah. So first of all, it depends, of course, if you're a single property or a chain property. If you're a single property, we can get everything set up in hours. So Meeting Package is fully self-service in that model, that if you have your content, pricing, logics, etc., and you know what you're actually doing, and know visually kind of what it includes, then that's just a matter of hours. Let's say I did a quick demo one day in a webinar. It took me, if I'm not lying too much, 25 minutes to create a venue from scratch with 5 meeting rooms, including booking engine, generated pricing, and venue rights. That took me 25 minutes end to end. But of course, I had the material already existing. So it depends how much you need to go and find images and pictures and things like that. And regarding the integration, from our perspective, we can set it up right away when you come, and we know that you're in Event Temple venue. That's quickly to set up at that point. If you're already using Event Temple, we're talking single property within less than a day, we can go up and running. If you're a chain property and you want to have a multi-search, then it's not necessarily regarding incremental increase depending on the amount of properties. It's the fact that in the beginning, we want to really unify the user experience, and it takes some time to implement it to your own website. But even during that period, you can actually in parallel create the venues, contents, integration, while the e-commerce team is doing then on the digital landscape.
Fantastic. And then with Event Temple, so for those who are potentially on a different sales and catering or not on sales and catering at all, I can answer that question. So with Event Temple, we are very, very quick in terms of the sales and catering landscape. Typically, I mean, instead of looking at these like months long onboarding periods, but as Jonas alluded, if you're multi-property versus single, the times can vary quite a bit. Typically with our single properties, first off, if you were saying, hey, I wanted to go live, we can have possibly, depending on the day, as soon as same day onboarding kickoff and starting. And our typical go lives are as soon as 2 weeks. So we're able to bring in all of those contacts and accounts. We're able to bring in all of your documents, make sure you're sending nice branded offers and BEOs and contracts and all that fun stuff. You're also able to set up the system. We're able to train your team on how to use it. And we're moving very, very quick. We're not looking at these long delayed onboarding periods. We're here, we're with you instantly, and we're ready to work with you. Well, with that, we're looking like we are just here at the end of time. It has been such a pleasure to have you, Jonas, and thank you for having me. And I'm really excited about this integration. This is one that I know people have been asking for a bit. So we're very excited to be delivering this with you.
Thank you, Trevor and Event Temple team, and especially everyone who's been here listening and asking a lot of great, amazing questions. As mentioned, you can reach out to us through email or through on our websites directly, and we're happy to assist both ways. I would assume, Trevor, that applies to you guys 100%.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. It was such a pleasure, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.
Bye-bye.